Hi, my name is Kaza Marie. Some of you know me as the LARP girl, and today I have a special tutorial for you. I'm going to show you how to make a tunic with a matching hat out of linen. The best part of this tutorial is that I'm going to include how to dye your tunic as well. Things that you're going to need: some dye for the linen. Make sure you check to make sure that the dye that you're going to use is going to match the fabric that you're using for your tunic. You're also going to need lots of linen fabric. Also, you'll need your best fitted favorite shirt. Don't worry, nothing's going to happen to your shirt. You're only using it as a template for measurements. I've lined up the shirt for how long I want it to be. I'm giving myself a little bit of room so we know how long the sleeves are going to be. They're going to end right here. They're going to end right over here as well. I tend to cut from the top, so that way the tunic has a little less seams and just looks a little bit nicer. It's my fireplace right now. And all my nerd stuff. Also in this tutorial, we're going to be doing a hat to match the tunic, and it's going to be the same color. We're using a fuchsia, so I took a well-fitted hat that I have here in my house, and we're going to use this as a pattern as well to sew. We have our patterns laid out, and now we're just going to cut them. The style of tunic and hat that we're going to be making today resembles Link's from The Legend of Zelda. The reason why we picked out a shirt that's well fitted is it's going to reduce the time that we have to measure everything out. I really just like to go with simple patterns that I don't have to think twice about. So how we're going to end up cutting this tunic is we're just going to make it a little bit wider on the sides than our favorite shirts are. So this is going to be about 1.5 inches wider, that extra 1/2 inch for hemming and sewing, and the inch just to give it a little bit of breathing room, because sometimes these shirts stretch and it's a million times easier to make something that's a bit bigger and take away from it than to make something that's smaller and have to add to it. Even though we have plenty of fabric and we could add as much more as we want, it's a lot easier just to cut it right the first time. So this is what it looks like so far. I went ahead and folded our material in half. That way it's going to cut some time from us measuring things out. Also, the size of this cloth is double the size of the hat. I'm hoping that that's going to give it enough length so that it reaches about the shoulder. This is roughly the pattern that we're following. Remember to leave a few inches on the side so that it gives you room to work with if you need to tighten it up. Still a little hot. Now we're going to hem the sides of the tunic and the hat that we've made. I dye the fabric after I'm done sewing. The reason why is because I can use that white fabric for something else. This hat works really well for a medieval LARP, cosplaying as Link, and also tucking your hair back so that you don't have to worry about it. Now we're going to finish up the tunic. Remember, all you have to do is sew up the sides and you're done. Make sure the costume fits before you do the final finishing touches. You don't want to have to go back and redo anything. These are the directions on the back of the container. It says half bottle dye to 3 gallons of hot water. It also says make sure the water is as hot as possible. So we're boiling it. I normally don't follow directions very well. This is probably not 3 gallons of water, but you know what? We're just gonna add half a bottle anyway. If anything, it'll look extra violet, which is okay with me. So while we're waiting for this to boil, I've got some extra directions. Add 1 cup of salt to dye bath for linens. I have a designated pot I have for dyeing and a stirrer for fabric. I don't use this for anything else. We're gonna add almost half of this, I guess. Alright, so that's pretty warm. I've set it on simmer, and now we're gonna start adding the fabric. The instructions say to keep this up for about a half an hour. I'm really bad at following instructions, so we're just gonna probably leave it like here for a half an hour. You say hi or run away. In order to rinse our fabric, we're going to rinse it in the bathtub. Now we're going to wait for this to dry outside, and hopefully it'll look good tomorrow. Side note, get a dryer, Kaza. And here's the final results for our tunic and hat. Thanks for watching my tutorial. I hope you liked it. Leave your comments below, and don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next time on the battlefield.